everybody, I'm Joey Paul and I'm an indie author and welcome back to my channel. I write young adult fiction across a variety of genres, and if you think that might interest you, then think about subscribing below. I also have a coffee shop with signed paperbacks and swag, which is also linked below. I feel like imposter syndrome is something that every writer experiences to some degree at multiple points in their writing career. It's certainly been something that I deal with, and I've been published for almost 20 years now. I thought that today I would give you some of my tips about what to do when imposter syndrome strikes and how to cope with it. So number 1, imposters don't question themselves. One thing that I don't think is talked about enough is that imposters generally don't question their own validity. They're confident that they are where they should be and no one can convince them otherwise. So if you're sat there thinking that you don't belong, that very thought can be the one thing that shows that maybe you do. Now, I'm not going to claim that all it takes is thinking positive thoughts and you'll be okay, which I'll talk about more in a moment, but that you can be safe in the knowledge that imposters, true imposters, people who are woefully inadequate for whatever they're doing, do not question themselves. If you're looking at other writers and thinking, wow, they're so put together, successful, productive, etc., then you might be getting a bit of imposter syndrome and think that because you might not be all of these things, or even one of them, that therefore you're an imposter, that you don't belong in the writing and author space. And that's just not true. Like I said before, it's something that I experience a whole lot. My ways of dealing with it are too many to mention, but at this point, this is one that's really stuck with me and helped me to stay on track. If you're a writer who writes, then you are valid and you belong here. Hell, even if you're not actively writing, come in, take a seat, and know that you are right where you should be. Number 2, good things for the win. Going back to positive thinking, which is not what I'm going to tell you to do because that feels fake and it doesn't really, for me at least, help at all. What I do is keep a folder of all the good things, reviews, readers reaching out, letters, emails, etc. And when I'm really struggling, I go back and read them all. I make sure to have them on my phone and my tablet so that all I have to do is, no matter where I am, is look through that folder and remind myself that I am an author and my work has touched people. That it's found one part of its audience. Of course, it's not always easy to talk yourself down, which leads to my next point. Number 3, you are your own worst critic. Have you ever really thought about the fact that for a lot of us, we're all our own worst critics? Like, I know that when I finish drafting, or when I go back to revise after a time away, I am sure that this book is going to be the one that is terrible and needs to be rewritten from scratch, or just scrapped altogether. I'm not going to tell you that I'm never right, because there have been some terrible ones, but I am going to say that about 90% of the time, I'm wrong. While I'm not claiming to write perfect first drafts, there are always some nuggets here, good bones, good characterization, and beyond that allows me to have something to work with that's good. And it's so very important to remember that, because otherwise you will end up spiraling and find it impossible to pull yourself out of it. So remember that you are the most critical of yourself. If you can't ever see the good in what you do, that's where getting outside help, alpha readers, beta readers, and the like, and getting a completely different perspective can help, because I guarantee that you are not as terrible as you think you are. And number 4, feel it and do it anyway. This last one is more because sometimes it's easy to get trapped into thinking that because you feel this way, you should stop writing. And while sure, that's an option, if it's not something you need to do, that's okay. But if it's not something you want, if it's not something you can see yourself going without, then the answer, sometimes at least, is to acknowledge that feeling and keep doing the thing. I'm not going to claim that it makes it easy, you will have to push through, but if you can, you may find yourself stronger for it on the other side. Everyone works differently, of course, but sometimes it's a case of knowing that you feel this way and you still want to create, to write, and to tell your stories, and that is a huge thing. Your stories are meant to be told. And if you have to fight through and ignore that gremlin in your head calling you an imposter, then do it. So yeah, those are my 4 tips about basically dealing with imposter syndrome. Like I said, I'm almost 20 years into this, and I still have times when I feel like an imposter. I don't think it's ever going to fully go away. I have gotten better at dealing with it. I have gotten better at working through it, and I think that's something that takes time and comes with practice. But you are your own worst critic, and imposters don't get imposter syndrome, so that's a plus. So how do you deal with imposter syndrome? Let me know in the comments down below. So that's all I've got time for today. If you want to support my channel, you can comment, like or subscribe. I post new videos on Thursdays. You can find me all over social media and my books are available everywhere. You can also support me in my Ko-fi shop and you can also sign up for my newsletter. And don't forget to pick up Translucent, which is the second in a young adult dystopian quartet. And also don't forget to grab a ticket for Wonderland in Nottingham in July, where I'll be signing books. All the links to which are listed below. Thanks for watching, and remember to keep writing. Bye.